Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Sweetie Nail Supply channel. Today we will be finishing up the Gels at Home series, this time with a video on how to remove your gel nails at home. We will go over each step in the process with details so that you can safely and easily remove your Gel X application. The first step will be charm removal. While not every nail set does include charms, we did want to show how to do this. For tools, you can use any sort of old cuticle nipper that you might have, or specific jewelry pliers meant to cut through metal. You just want to lay them parallel to the nail surface and try to cut under the gem or the charm. The important thing is that you do use an old pair of cuticle nippers, ones that you are not going to be using on your skin. Cutting charms like this can dull the cuticle nippers, which means you do not want to use them on your skin after because it could tear the skin instead of cutting cleanly through it. Once all of your charms are removed, it is time to file off the polish. We do strongly recommend using a dust collector during this process. You want to avoid breathing in any sort of nail debris. And so this is the Loma Linda and D-Gel Dust Collector collaboration. It uses water as a filtration device instead of disposable filters. You just open up the tanks at the bottom and fill them with the required amount, and then you are good to go. Before filing down the nail surface, it's useful to remove the excess length with a nail tip clipper. This just cuts down on the amount of filing that you have to do. For filing down the bulk, we will be using the Mango Pro Multi-Off bit from Yogo. This bit is special in that it has 3 different grits. The center is a medium grit, which means it's great for overall filing. The back end is the most coarse, meaning that you want to use this to debulk. And then the front end is actually the least coarse, and it has a rounded edge, which is great for working around the cuticles. When filing, the angle is very important. You want to try to keep the length of the bit parallel to the nail. If you angle the bit too high, you can end up digging into the nail and going much deeper than you anticipated. Same with if your angle is too shallow, so just try to make sure that the length of your bit is parallel to your nail surface. Keep it moving at all times, and even around the cuticle, make sure that the part you're filing with is parallel to that nail surface. You just want to start by taking down the surface of the nail using either the coarser back end or the center as I'm doing here. And once you have most of the bulk removed and begin working on the cuticle area, you do want to switch to that least coarse front end of the bit. You can use a hand file for this process, but it will be much more time intensive. File down the surface until you have just a thin layer of gel atop your natural nail, and then we can move on to the next step, which is soaking off the rest of the base gel. Here's what my nails are looking like and about how thick of a layer of gel I've left on them. To soak off the rest of the product, you do need to use 100% pure acetone. Now it's not necessary, but since acetone can be dehydrating, you can use a cuticle oil pen like this one here from Jello Jello, and apply it to the skin around the nail to keep it hydrated while it's soaking. Using pre-made nail foils is a great way to save time, but if you don't have access to them, you can just use some regular foil and a cotton pad. You want to thoroughly soak the cotton pad with the acetone and then wrap it around the nail, ensuring it is pressed firmly to the nail surface. The tighter you can wrap the foil, the better, as it will help keep the acetone from dehydrating. That way it can do its work to break down the gel. Leave this wrapped initially for at least 15 minutes, and then unwrap it to check if the gel is soft enough to remove. If it is ready, it will come off with slight pressure from some sort of metal tool, like a cuticle pusher. This one here is the Jello Jello cuticle pusher, and it has a nice rounded flat edge. It's very gentle on the nail surface and won't accidentally scrape into your natural nail. Here you can see that the bottom layer isn't quite ready to remove yet. If you need to apply a lot of pressure, please do not do so, as that is how you can harm your natural nail bed and cause some of those natural nail layers to lift and flake. Instead, wrap the nail back up in the foil, re-wetting that cotton pad with acetone if needed. Let it sit for another 5 minutes or so, and then check to see if you can scrape away some of that product. As you can see here, I'm just barely scraping across the surface of the nail, and the gel is literally just flaking off. This is the consistency you want to work with, so keep at it and be patient. For a thicker application, you may need to soak the nail multiple times, but it's always better to be safer and take the time in order to protect the health of our natural nails. If there is a little bit of the gel left that you can't get rid of with the cuticle pusher, now's the time where you can go in with a high grit file, something like this 180 grit from Diami, and file away just that last little bit of gel. And here's what my nails are looking like. Perfectly healthy with just that little bit of filing on the surface. In order to preserve that health, I am going to apply a cuticle oil and a nail serum. This is the Aquaniche Spirulina Nail Ampoule. It contains collagen and ceramides to help add protein back to the nail surface. You just apply a thin layer to the surface of a clean nail, wait for about 5 minutes for the product to fully dry down, and then go in with a second coat. This is a product that absorbs into the nail, so do not expect all of it to remain on the surface. It absorbs to apply those healing ingredients, and in about 2 weeks' time, you are supposed to see a noticeable difference in the surface of your nail, especially for those who do have damaged or scratched nails. And last but not least, we also want to protect the skin around our nails, and so for a cuticle oil, I'm using the Q-Ore All-in-One. It contains organic cactus and seed oils to nourish that skin and keep it nice and healthy. And that is the final step in the Nails at Home series. We thank you so much for joining us and hope you found this helpful. If you do have ideas for other types of tutorials that you would like to see on our channel, please feel free to comment them down below. We'd also love to see your Gel X nail sets, so please don't forget to tag our socials. As usual, all of the products we used will be linked in the description. We thank you so much for joining us for this series, and we hope to see you next time.